Please be seated. Let us pray. On this day of celebration and achievement, we give thanks to God for the rich inheritance we have received from this university, for the insight and imagination of others, and for friendship shared. We give thanks for families and friends who have supported us in difficult times and encouraged us to achieve our goals. Bless all our graduates as they journey forth from here to their different places and countries of work, that they may use their newfound skills to guide others on the paths of discovery and learning. In their teaching, may they use their creativity and vision to capture the imagination of others. May they use their gifts of compassion and understanding to uphold the welfare of our community and to care for those in need. Guide those who will use their newfound wisdom and skill for the relief of suffering and the conquest of disease, or to harness new technology for the benefit of all. Guide those who will use their creative gifts and artistic talents to interpret the form and beauty of the world around us, or who will plan and engineer an exciting new future. Give generously of your time in the service of others. May you go forth with a spirit of courage and adventure to meet whatever challenges lie ahead. Amen.
Good afternoon, and welcome to all of you to this afternoon's graduation ceremony, which I assure you is going to be fun, despite being formal. Before we start that, it's my pleasure to ask the Principal and Vice Chancellor to address the Assembly.
Chancellor, Lord Provost, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. We're here today to celebrate the academic achievements of our newest graduates, and the focus should be firmly on each and every one of them as they are presented to the Chancellor to be capped in the traditional University of Dundee manner and have their degrees, diplomas and certificates conferred upon them. But I also want to take a moment to pay tribute to the members of academic staff, some of whom are here today on the stage and in the galleries, for their tireless commitment to the highest standards of teaching, scholarship and research that underpin our academic programs. I also want to acknowledge the support and encouragement provided by the friends and families of our new graduates. And I'm delighted to welcome you all to the university and, on behalf of the Lord Provost, to the City of Dundee today. Graduation is a time for celebration, but also a time for reflection, as it marks a transformation from student to graduate, of course, but in other ways too. Many of you will be leaving Dundee as you start or resume careers and begin a new chapter in your lives with new challenges and opportunities. But even if today marks the end of your time as a student here, it also marks the start of your new status as a graduate of the university. And as graduates, you will have lifelong membership of the University of Dundee. And I hope you will always consider that this is your university. Take pride in that membership and with your connection to the City of Dundee in the years ahead. And I hope that as you apply your talents and skills in the pursuit of your ambitions, you will continue to take an interest in your university as we progress in the pursuit of our own ambitions to build a better, stronger, more influential university with the aim of becoming Scotland's leading university within 25 years, recognised for the quality of our graduates and the global impact of our research. These goals are challenging and long-term and will require a sustained commitment to excellence. However, there are a number of areas where we are justified in thinking that we are already leading the way. We graduate the highest numbers of professionals in Scotland. We are regularly rated as having the best student experience and the best Students' Association. We're leading Scotland in 11 out of 30 subjects in the National Student Survey, and we've achieved record levels of external research funding in each of the last 2 years. Now, if we look back at the history of the university, we can see many examples of where Dundee innovation and inspiration has been at the forefront of a range of disciplines, from town planning to keyhole surgery, from drug discovery to concrete technology. The very idea of a university in Dundee was built on the aspirations of some remarkable individuals in the 19th century. Our initial benefactors, John Boyd and Mary Ann Baxter, and the earliest academics at University College, Geddes, Darcy Thompson, Cornelli, Ewing, still familiar names on the 21st century campus. There are many great names that have been associated with the university since its founding as University College in 1881. And I'd like to take this opportunity in 2013 to mention 2 examples that vividly illustrate the richness of our history and our commitment to transforming lives. In our summer graduations, I talked about the inspirational story of one of our earliest graduates, Mary Lily Walker, who died 100 years ago this year. Mary Lily was not only one of the first women in Scotland to be taught in the same classroom as men, winning prizes in botany, biology, and embryology, but she was a pioneer for social reform in Dundee and beyond. She led innovations in Dundee that vastly improved the support for mothers and children in the most deprived areas, and argued for practical reform in the face of the deplorable living conditions and high child mortality rates in the poverty of industrial Dundee. Her efforts had an immediate impact in improving the lives of the poorest families, but also had a lasting legacy in the influence it had on wider social reforms. Mary Lily died in July 1913, 4 days before her 50th birthday, but in her short life, she transformed the social conditions of women in our city and beyond. The second example I want to mention today recognizes the global impact of the work of Nobel laureate Professor Ronald Coase, who died in September of this year, aged a remarkable 102 years. Ronald Coase was a founding professor at the Dundee School of Economics, later to become an integral part of the university. He was born in London in 1910, within the lifetime of Mary Lily Walker, and came to Dundee in the early 1930s to begin his academic career, a career that saw him move from Dundee to the London School of Economics and then to the United States, where he was professor in the University of Chicago Law School from 1964, and where he remained for the rest of his life. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Economic Science in 1991, partly in recognition for his groundbreaking work on the nature of the firm, work that was produced during his time as a teacher and researcher at the Dundee School. His contribution to economic theory was profound and is still the subject of study across the world, including in our own School of Business, who this week held a seminar to mark his passing, his links to Dundee, and to celebrate and pay tribute to his lasting achievements. I believe that if we take the examples of Mary Lily Walker and Ronald Coase to heart, then the vision we have for the university will stand in sharp focus. A university that is deeply rooted in the city and the region, but whose reach is global, both in terms of the staff and students that work and study here in Dundee, and in the influence and impact of scholarship that has been produced in this city, to the benefit of the entire world, transforming lives locally and globally. And if each and every member of the university tries to emulate the ambition, innovation, and imagination of Mary Lily Walker and Ronald Coase, and we apply these principles to the way we teach, to our research tackling complex global problems, and to harness our efforts to transforming lives, we will become Scotland's leading university. Who knows, in even less than 25 years. And in doing so, the university will become known around the world for producing leaders and achievers in all walks of life, including many of you who are graduating today. There has always been a broad range of expertise and excellence across the university, and we are determined to build on that excellence, to continue to attract the best staff and the best students, to have the best graduates, to transform lives through the generation and application of knowledge, and to create a truly world-class university that you, our graduates, will be inspired by and will continue to be proud of. Just as we on this stage, and I particularly, will undoubtedly take pride in the achievements of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Principal, thank you for that inspiring address. Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to invite the Dean of the College of Duncan of Jordison College of Art and Design, Mrs. Janet Paul, to introduce the graduates.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degree of Bachelor of Design, Claire MacDonald. And Bachelor of Science, Brian Davidson. Diploma of Higher Education, Annabelle Farquharson. And for the degree of Master of Design with Distinction, Selina Law. Master of Design, Claire Louise Abram. Claire England. Karen Little. Sarah Mettleton. Xinwei Zhang. And for the Master of Fine Art with Distinction, Yumi Choi. Harriet Yarrington. Master of Fine Art, Khalid Al-Said. Nicole Bennett. Catherine Briggs. David Fyans. Krisana Hatta Acharakun. Lisa Scrimmager. For the Master of Science with Distinction, Sarah Gillespie. Navid Gornal. Thomas Hogben. Master of Science, Alana Butchert. Yayi Ding. Yunfei Fu. Isabel Moreno. Wen Chu. Chongyu Tu. Jingjing Yang. Tao Yin. Sang Han Yu. Biren Zhang. And for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Graham Pullen. Francis Stevenson.
My pleasure to call upon the Dean of School of Computing, Dr. Janet Hughes.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Rebecca Collins. And for the postgraduate certificate, postgraduate diploma in applied computing, Estvilla Fadzilla. And for the postgraduate diploma in computing, Nikki Aitkenhead. And for the degree of Master of Science with distinction, Zainab Afzal. Samuel Gray. Shangley Moon. James Oliver. And for the degree of Master of Science with Merit, Lauren Boys. Georgios Lazaridis. Robin Nash. And for the degree of Master of Science, Marcel Haddering. Stephen Hughes. Temur Javed. Mark Locke. Yuting Mao. Chi Yung Wang. Chongshang Wu. And for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Philip Quinlan.
Thank you, Professor Hughes. I call upon the Dean of School of Engineering, Physics, and Mathematics, Professor Timothy Newman.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present, for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Grant Edwards. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science, with first-class honours, Adam Forrest. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Alexandra Grubb. Margaret Long. And the postgraduate certificate in renewable energy and environmental modelling, Gary Finnegan. In absentia. And for the degree of Master of Science with distinction, Krasimir Dargov. Wenbin Guo. Andreas Hertel. Yu Tin Ling. Xiaoheng Lu. Heather Petrie. Pamela Piri. Jing Kui. Michael Robinson. Nikolaus Strompenis. Zhengzhu Wang. Chuo Zhang. And Ziyang Zhang. And for the degree of Master of Science with Merit, Katerini Pronsanadu. And for the degree of Master of Science, Hossam Al-Quda. Namir Alali. Ting Chen. Zi Chen. David Craven. Yunji Hao. Lei He. Ki Hua Hu. Syed Sadat Hussain. Karthikram Yayakumar. Miriam Jimenez Garcia. Sandy Kemp. Nyanzin Lin Lin. Mateus Paraskopoulos. Christina Phuket. Yaikish Purakat. Zin Ki, Kwanyan Ki, William Reed, Karolina Ruskowitz, Mithun Krishna Saravaran Prasad, Azim Syed Shiraz, Lauren Shields, Shashank Singhal, Hui Chao Yi, Zhen Peng Yin, Dong Zhang, and Yi Zhang. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Abdussamad Ismail. And Wei Zong.
Thank you, Professor Newman. My pleasure to call upon the Dean of the School of Education, Social Work and Community Education, Professor Timothy Kelly.
Slightly different accent, yes. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Social Work, Upper Second Class Honors, Sarah Osgood. And for the degree Bachelor of Arts, Elizabeth B. Haley Brown. Amanda Connolly. Leanne Godfrey. Anthony McGinley. Craig McGregor. Deborah Oram. Elizabeth Peace. James Stewart. Margaret Swanky. Robert Taylor. And for the undergraduate certificate teaching qualification and further education, Alistair Bruce. James Bergen. Lorna Connolly. Stephen Haddon. Allison Hammond. Leslie Hodgins. Fiona Mason. Selena McCrae, Mark Murkowski, Stephen Oakley, Charles Quinn, Justine Williams. And for the postgraduate certificate in child care and protection, Allison Todd. Jennifer West. And for the postgraduate certificate in teaching qualification and further education, Angelique Anderson. Katie Anderson. Catherine Barton. Francis Dick. George Gibson. Joyce Hamilton. Michael Henderson. Sharon Land. Irene Lowry. Myra MacPhail. Lauren McDonald. Grant Noble. Wendy Rankin. Susan Swan. Alistair Thompson. And for the professional graduate diploma, Ross Anderson. Claire Armit. Leanne Brittle. Catherine Blake. Colin Brown. Deborah Brown. Nicola Budge. Elizabeth Clark. Caroline Cole. Lynn Courts. Louise Coots. Tracy Curry. Siobhan Day. Laura Donaldson. Ewan Douglas. Owain Evans. Emma Fido. Paula Findley. Sarah Gilfillan. Alistair Gillespie, Emma Gillingham, Nicola Gorley, Dean Gray, Claire Gregg, Samantha Hane, Alice Henry, Kate Hutchinson, Nicole Johnson, Orla Kelly, Allison Kerr, Joanna Lee, Lindsay MacArthur, Katie McCrimmon, Kirsty McDougall, Mary McPherson, Sarah Masson, Lorna May, Zoe Mays, Laura McCormick, Lauren Moffett, Gemma Mowat, Claire Monroe, Paul Murphy, Laura Porter, Julie Renwick, Jennifer Richardson, Emma Robertson, Amy Russell, Anne-Marie Russell, Lindsay Smith, Priya Thakarshi, Craig Thompson, Leonie Wah, Carolyn Wilson, Kirsty Wilson, and Erin Wood. And for Master of Education, John Curran. Shelley Finlater. Master of Science, Andrea Allen. Jane Donahue. Rebecca Lang. Lynn Armstrong. Marta Blachowiak. Ronan Burke. Carrie Burton. Allison Cameron. Caroline Connor. Marion Danzel, Caroline Doherty, Teresa Dignan, Kiara Dunn, Wu Sang Zhang, Donna Joyner, Tracy Kelly, Fiona Lorney, Jillian Martin, Glenda Martin, Catherine McGlynn, Isabel Meek, Simone Paul, Doreen Reed, Hazel Robertson, Lindsay Turfus, Paula White. And Chancellor, I have the honor to present the degree of Doctor of Education, Rosalind Scott. And Doctor of Philosophy, Clara Donahoe.
Thank you, Professor Kelly. It's now my pleasure to ask Professor Roger Soames from the College of Life Sciences to introduce the graduates. Professor Soames.
Chancellor, I have the pleasure to present to you for the degree of Bachelor of Science First Class Honours, Sumira Naseem. With Upper Second Class Honours, Kirsty Lunn. With Lower Second Class Honours, Zoe Robb. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Nicole Dolan. Nihil Kapoor. Samuel Matthews. Martin Patterson. Greg Rattray. Laura Riley. Jane Ritchie. Katrina Webster. For the Diploma of Higher Education, Scott Fisher. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Forensic Art, Daniel Marion. For the Postgraduate Diploma in Medical Art, Gillian Kirkland. Master of Research with Distinction, Sybil Mittman. Master of Research, Rory McLeod. Megan McGonigal. Master of Science with Distinction, Khadijat Bobo. Pok Tat Lim. Ekaterina Maraki. Eli Sarilita. Catherine Ann Smith. For the degree of Master of Science, Sarah Dolan. Hayley Fisher. Victoria McCulloch. Lauren Pass. Laura Watson. I have the pleasure to present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Katrina Davis. Rachel DeSanto. Andrew O'Malley. Young Ray. Thank you.
Professor Soames.
So,
I think that special cheer was for you, probably.
oh, I don't think so, Chancellor.
I think this is a real treat to occasionally have those that teach present the graduates.
It's my
I know that this might be the last occasion you might have an opportunity because you're thinking of retiring.
Yes.
So I think on the behalf of the university, for the years that you have taught, all the students who are now doctors and PhDs, thank you very much. And I know the students will appreciate it. Thank you. Principal.
Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to confer their degrees in absence upon the candidates who have been unable to attend this ceremony.
By the authority of the Senate, I confer these degrees.
Now, at the start of the ceremony, the Chancellor said that along with the formality of this occasion, we should have some fun. And what the Chancellor says, we all obey. So let's have some fun to celebrate the fact that you are now graduates of this university. You came into this hall as graduands, and now you are graduates, and that's certainly cause for celebration. But in order to celebrate fully, polite applause is not what is required. Decorum should be thrown out of the window. The small person who cried out just a few moments ago needs to join in full voice with that celebration. So what I want you to do is to make as much noise as you can by voice, using your feet, anything you can use legally. if you throw your degree certificates in the air, make sure you catch the right one on the way down. But without further ado, congratulations to all of you.
Not bad. Please be upstanding. I declare this academic ceremony closed.